Suffer, who is a security analyst, join us to continue the conversation around the attack on the NDA. Stanley, good morning.
Good morning, Nigerian.
So good to have you join us this beautiful day. Let's just hear how you want to react, how you reacted when you heard. Let's start with you, Stanley. When you heard that the NDA, the citadel of Nigerian military formation, intelligence, and training, was attacked yesterday, exactly what ran through your head, Stanley?
Well, it did not come to me as a complete shock or surprise. Reason being that I think some months back we had some same story where bandits, or call them armed robbers, invaded the Aso Rock. So if they can make their way into Aso Rock, I think it shows that there is nowhere they cannot penetrate, and they have gone far to prove that to us yesterday. I mean, on Tuesday when they attacked the NDA, it is actually showing that the bandits, the terrorists are taking over the security, and it is something that, for me, the citizens have to raise fear. It is still the same thing happening this way. I would like to relate it a little to what is happening within the South, where IPOB has declared stay at home, and the orders are obeyed. Where we have a government, the government could not give the people confidence to come do their business. IPOB put a ban, a stay at home every Monday, and it's obeyed. So it's actually showing the porosity and the emptiness of most of our security architecture. If they could enter NDA, who knows what will happen to defense headquarters and other military formations. So it is what the security, the NSA and what have you, should rise up. This is almost like putting hands in the eyes of the army. And all we could hear is that we are trailing the perpetrators and we'll bring them to book. When are we going to take this battle to their camp? When are we going to do intelligence to nip these things in the bud? When are we going to give Nigerians confidence that the security agencies are up to the task and they can stop these things before they happen? It's actually a shame, but all hope is not lost. I think it should be a wake-up call for our security agencies to know that it is time they need to take this head-on. It's not the time they use kid gloves or play politics about the security of this country.
And Stanley, what we try to achieve here, if you think back and you look at how this has been unfolding, I'm hoping you can help us understand what is playing out here. These violent non-state actors, first with Boko Haram, and then I remember very well that it was because they came out to admit being behind the attacks that happened in the incidences we've mentioned, whether in the Federal Capital Territory or in Borno State, for us to know they were behind this. But for many years now, with these so-called bandits, we've had different narratives about exactly who they are, because one of the questions, I'm sure, that many of the questions that Dix is asking here, we expect that the military will say, we are going to find those who were behind this, we are going to find those who provided them any sort of assistance, money, those who provided them sanctuary. Anyone who was involved in this in any way whatsoever should be apprehended and brought to book. I'm sure it's on the mind of every investigation going forward. But we have a problem where this group, we've used several names in identifying them, but do you think that this is the bellwether? You know, this is where it is. The red line that has been crossed in saying this is a terror group that has to be identified in knowing who they are, what their name is, who the leadership is, what the structure is, because I think we've reached a stage where we now know that to carry out this sort of attack, it requires some real planning, you know, going forward, not some happenstance like we've been talking about in the past. Stanley.
Yeah, you see, I want to take this a little bit off the table now. There's a proverb in my place that when a father sends his son to go and steal, he goes through he marches the front door open. Now, for a very long time, we have given this, we have given them names. Boko Haram, bandits. We have not faced the reality that these are criminals, these are terrorists, these are people who are enemy to the state. And what has been happening in Kaduna State particularly should be traced to what is happening. Most of these bandits may have sponsors within that place. Yesterday I was going through a video where a clergyman was complaining of how they have been killed, how the Christians have been killed, and nothing happens. Each time they call them for peace meeting, after the peace meeting they are killed, and each time they want to retaliate, there's negotiation. So what is actually happening in Kaduna State? Can anybody look at it from that angle? Because these persons now are beginning to get guts. Perhaps the people that send them are their fathers, and so they want to go through the front door, not even the hide and seek they were doing. For them to have the mind to go to NDA, there is something, there is a courage they have. Let's not just look at it as maybe bandits invading there. They entered, like Dixon has said, what happened to all the procedures? You asked him that question, but I think he didn't answer it directly. I think there is an internal collaborator in this crime. For them to enter, from when they entered, I don't know how long that, I've not gotten details of how long this operation lasted, but for them to gain access, carry out the operation, and live with a general, you know, it shows you that there are people that were part of what has happened inside. And like this is said, let a high power delegation be sent to NDA immediately to go to investigate what happened. We are still preempting until we get a full report of how they came in, how long it lasted. Then we can say authoritatively that they must be an internal assistance. Else, criminals cannot just invade NDA, carry out the operation, and live successfully, and the army now are tracing them to rescue their man that is being kidnapped. You find out that at the end of the day, it's not impossible that the army may need to pay ransom to them to get their man out, as the country we have gone to. So it is something that the army, the government should stand up. We have given criminality a different name for too long, and that's why they are thriving. That's why they are moving from stage to stage. In my opening speech, I made mention of them entering Aso Rock. Today they have entered NDA. Tomorrow it might be defense headquarters. It might be a government house. So it is time that the government needs to know that it is not just giving the plate, the food to the monkey. It is getting back the plate. Most of these guns that the politicians have put out to these persons, it is what is causing this thing. These kidnaps, the school kidnaps, monies that were paid and all of that, using to finance these things, and it's a big business. And until we begin to listen some high-powered people, I think we will not get to where we're going. So it is time that the government need to see the embarrassment they have put the country into. Like Dixon said, NDA don't just train Nigerian soldiers. International, some other countries send their generals for training here. What will become of the NDA if they cannot protect themselves? What can they offer to other countries? What can they offer to the citizens? What quality of generals are they training and are they bringing out if they cannot provide simple process security? It calls for immediate and urgent investigation to unravel what is behind this and who are the people behind these people you call bandit, you call Boko Haram. For as far as I'm concerned, they are criminals, and if you don't address them, I mean, if you don't treat them like criminals, they continue to come out, do what they do, and go in.
All right, Stanley. Let's take the conversation a little bit further. I haven't listened to the picture that Dixon painted, where he did make us understand the fact that there was a complete breach of every security mechanism around the NDA. He actually did call for interrogation, or maybe use the word dismissal or sack of the commandant of the NDA. Exactly what would you think should be the first place in terms of interrogating these incidents?
Like the NDA must have a CSO, a chief security officer. It has a commandant. Now the base guards, the persons on duty, which part of the perimeter was this? Did this band? Was there any intruder alarm? You know, Dixon painted a story. A scenario of in an ideal military setting. Are we sure they have this perimeter? Are we sure they have this intruder alarm? Are we sure that the perimeter of this building is cleared? Are we sure they have the CCTV cameras covering those places? If they have, are they functional? Because if they are functional, the first point is the CCTV footage. But I've told you when the people started approaching the CCTV footage, do they have a control room? Are there people manning the control room 24 hours? Because a lot of times we'll find out that a lot of people, you see some CCTV cameras, but there is nobody in the control. So were there people in the control? If there were people there, did they notice these criminals when they were advancing? Did they raise the alarm? So these are the things they need to first and foremost check. Let's assume that there is no CCTV camera, or maybe they are not working. Who are the people posted? Because in that place they post soldiers to man the premises. Who are those people posted? Where were they? Did any of them open fire? Did any of them raise alarm? So these are the areas the panel should go in first. If all these ones fail, then we'll now begin to talk about bringing back this structure. This should now raise the consciousness of both the commandant of the NDA, knowing that they don't have any security architecture. Perhaps they were concentrating on, training and sending out without thinking that, they should provide adequate security. Just like a proverb again, that most times it is carpenters that don't have seat at home. So it could be that they were just concentrating on training our soldiers to face the outer world, forgetting to protect their own self. So this is a call for a total overhaul of all security formations. Now you find out most times, especially in South here, most police stations now, you see them barricade the premises. Some places on the lane where you have the police station, they block it, they do 2 lanes. This is time they need to begin to look at a holistic security approach. Do a 3-layer security approach. Not just, do a 3-level security approach, so that by the time they beat 1, beat 2, an alarm would have been raised, a consciousness would have been raised, and you mobilize to fight them outside that place. Not what happened. For them to get into NDA and kill 2 and live with a general, it's a slap on the Nigerian Army. I repeat that.
All right. Thank you very much, Stalin Sofor. Even though it was a major who was abducted.
Stalin Sofor in our Port Harcourt studios. I'm afraid we can't even allow you to have a parting shot, but then thank you for your contribution on the show this morning. We appreciate you a great deal.